Coming up next on Middle Tennessee News, a local company is giving back. A helicopter crash near Tullahoma. We have drone footage of that. And see what Tennessee is doing to preserve historical lands. All those stories plus your latest weather. Middle Tennessee News starts right now. Welcome to Middle Tennessee News. I'm Jonas Sage. A helicopter crashed in Moore County yesterday near Tullahoma. The Tullahoma Fire and Police Department were the first to respond to the scene of the crash. Tullahoma Police Sergeant Cody Brandon found one pilot, and after driving and walking for 20 minutes, he located the second pilot who made the 911 call. The two pilots were on the way to Tullahoma when the crash occurred. The Tennessee Historical Commission and Tennessee Wars Commission announced a matching grant of more than $1.8 million. It's been awarded to the American Trust for their effort to preserve 42 acres of land associated with the Battle of Stones River. Superintendent Brenda Pennington is excited about the possibility of preserving a key sector of land where the Battle of Stones River raged. While the grant award represents an important step in the process, much work remains to complete the preservation of the important site.
That money can possibly be used now to, purchase and preserve, part of the landscape where the Battle of Stones River took place.
Crews with the Tennessee Department of Transportation are still dealing with the aftermath of a landslide. The slide was reported between Old Hickory Boulevard and Briley Parkway. Part of a cliff face fell onto the interstate, causing mud and rocks to slide. Removal of the debris is considered a high-risk operation, and TDOT expects more mud and trees to slide off the side of the cliff. Drivers can take Old Hickory Boulevard to I-65 to get to Nashville. Whites Creek Pike is also an alternate route. If you think potholes have been a trouble for you in your daily commute, then take a look at this. This monster sinkhole swallowed the road in Knox County, Tennessee, after the weekend's historic rainfall. The sinkhole was first spotted Wednesday, where it only spanned about 5 feet. However, officials say that the hole is roughly measured 30 feet by 30 feet, covering half of the road. According to the Director of Public Works and Engineering, Jim Snowden, filling the hole will carry a high price tag. Snowden says they are expecting anywhere from $100,000 to $110,000. They are hoping to have the road opened by late next week. Clarksville police are still searching for 2 people involved with a home invasion. The burglars stole a BMW from a home on Bilgen Drive. Police tracked down the car just blocks away, and the suspects jumped out and ran. The suspects were possibly armed. Anyone with information is encouraged to call the Clarksville Police Department. One inmate bit off a lot more than he could chew. According to a blog post by Sheriff Patrick Ray of DeKalb County, James Goes bit a correctional officer on the knee during a fight. The post also mentions that Goes also had a hidden shank in prison housing. His court date is set for March 7th. Local Murfreesboro women are getting transformed one step at a time. With the help of Jody Powers and Candace Russell over at Amelia's Closet, where they help assist Miss Fortune with a week's supply of outfits. Shamar covers this story on Middle Tennessee News. Apologize for the technical difficulties there. Of course, Russell also shared us the emotional side of their work, revealing a heartbreaking yet uplifting tale of the women who the program had helped. Of course, coming up next on Middle Tennessee News, we introduce a news segment that's informative and fun. And which MTSU athletes and teams are on a roll, we'll find out more about that right here on Middle Tennessee News.
Sculpting the perfect body takes time. Quitting smoking does too. But with a little help, you can do it. Get the resources and support you need to quit smoking from the American Cancer Society at cancer.org/smokeout.
Hannah is bright, talented, and she's been so brave. Hannah complained of a headache It was a rhabdomyosarcoma. Within a few days, Hannah was in treatment because we were told that the tumor was very aggressive. So we've essentially put our lives in South Africa on hold. Incredibly blessed to be here. St. Jude is an asset to the world. The research that is developed here is offered freely to the rest of the medical world. The entire way that the place operates is just to give and to care. I think it's the kind of place that not only stands as a beacon for pediatric cancer, but I think it could teach the world a couple of lessons about how to treat people. And I think if those lessons could be learned, even in their most basic form, this world could be a better place.
Repeat after me. Apple, table, penny.
Apple, bread.
I remember watching Dad with the kids and thinking, geez, in 6 years, will he even know who they are?
Ask me again.
1 in 10 Americans over 65 has Alzheimer's disease. Learn more today at brightfocus.org.
What does it look like when a life is truly changed?
I feel a sense of accomplishment because I built a house. This house has brought us financial independence.
Every family dreams to have their own house. This house changed our lives.
Habitat for Humanity is at work in your community and around the world. Through shelter, we empower.
From sinkholes to flooding, the state of Tennessee is feeling the effects of the historic rainfall recently. The rain's also been affecting the housing market here in Middle Tennessee. Studio M reporter Joseph Choi spoke with a real estate agent to explain how flooding in real estate correlate.
Flooding, like we've recently experienced, disrupts our lives in so many ways. It lengthens our commutes, damages our property, and it may even affect the housing market here in Middle Tennessee. We spoke with veteran real estate agent Jonathan Harmon, who says a small line on a map can have a major effect on pricing and affordability.
You get a house that was not in a flood zone before and now it's labeled with a flood zone. It does stigmatize the property. It drives the value of that specific property down because from that point until infinity, until they redraw that map, a lender's going to require that somebody carry flood insurance on that property. Flood insurance can range anywhere from a couple $100 a year to up to about $3,000 a year, and that's substantial.
Flood zones are determined by FEMA based on past events like the 2010 flood. But according to Harmon, that may not always be reliable, and our boom in real estate development may be to blame.
Any time that you have a lot of development in an area, and then you have a flood type event, you're gonna see new things happen because you're pushing dirt around, right? And when you push the dirt around over here and it floods in this whole area, then the dirt that you moved over here affects over here. Which way does it flow? Where does it collect, right? And so as long as we keep seeing development, that's a pardon the pun, but that's a fluid thing as far as what's gonna flood.
For Studio M, I'm Joseph Choi.
Thanks, Joseph. As the rain continues to fall, be aware of whether your home is at risk of being in a floodplain. Join us every week for our Studio M special reports, bringing you the latest news on innovation, technology, education, and things that matter to you here in Murfreesboro. Grammy winner, rapper, and music producer David Banner spoke at MTSU to wrap up Black History Month.
David Banner concluded his last speech tour for Black History Month at MTSU. During an emotional speech, David Banner shared his point of view on issues such as religion, racism, and Black empowerment. David Banner provided his definition of a revolutionary.
I'm a revolutionary, so I don't want people to be comfortable. You know, that's one thing that Jesus did say, man. He was like, I didn't come here to bring you comfort. We came here to bring you the truth. You know, and as much truth as I can put into the ecosystem, the better chance our people have to survive. You know, the thing is I'm not like most people who say that they're leaders. I don't want people to necessarily follow me. I just want people to think. You know, I just want to shake up what people believe is the truth. And we have a tendency to blindly believe stuff that we truly haven't researched. You know, one thing that people don't know about me, I started my own library. Like in some cases, I have a library that's bigger than some elementaries, you know, and I'm an avid reader. So what I always try to do is test people's foundation, hopefully, and shake it up and show them something new.
During the discussion, many students questioned David Banner. Ernest Irvin asked about how to bridge the gap between the previous generation and the younger generation.
And what he said, the best thing you can do is start with yourself, which I 100% agree. If you start with yourself, you affect the members of your household. When you affect the members of your household affects the people in your neighborhood or in your community. And that spreads out to your township or your city and to your state. I think that we play a more foundational role and touch the most people at home first and the people in the towns that you live in first.
Dr. Aaron Treadwell, professor of history, talks about the message that he received from the event.
I just hope that the energy and the excitement from tonight can carry over, not just to the classroom, but David Banner used many references of different books and titles that he had been using to research his public speaking. One of the beautiful things is that MTSU is a fine library, so I look forward to see many of the same students I saw tonight in the library researching some of those things and finding their own voice in order to make a change.
Banner's messages are clear. Be yourself, bring the truth, and be a revolutionary. In Murfreesboro, Bing-Nan Lee, Middle Tennessee News.
Black History Month may be over, but it'll be embraced by many all year long. A Middle Tennessee youth basketball team is defying the odds and proving that all you need is a little love for the sport. Reporter Austin Thompson talked with one of the players and his family who have an MTSU connection.
Time is ticking as one basketball team battles it out against another. Coaches yelling in encouragement. For the Music City Thunder basketball team, they competed in a tournament at MTSU this past weekend. The team may play on wheels, but the players say it's a lot more intense than you might think.
It's way more aggressive. I have a cut on my arm, so yeah, you got to watch out for that.
You have 2 pushes, then you have to dribble. It kind of gives you an adrenaline, you know, and it's very aggressive.
Number 44, Jay Denning, hasn't let his ability stop him from pursuing anything, including basketball.
Well, I started at a very young age. I started playing basketball when I was 4 years old. I'm more of a facilitator. I'm the point guard, so I'm trying to get everyone involved on the court.
He has scoliosis, spinal bifida. He's missing 3 bones in his back, but that's only encouragement.
Jay's dad, Oscar, is an assistant coach for the team.
Because they are challenged, their motivation to want to do something, that's what pushed this above any other sport.
Jay's cousin, former MTSU wide receiver Patrick Smith, came out to see him play some hoops.
Playing basketball in a wheelchair is a task in his own, and he does it every day.
Patrick admires his 15-year-old cousin's drive despite the challenges.
He has a reason to be upset, you know, but he does it. He wakes up every day with a smile on his face and a positive attitude.
Jay is set to be a team captain soon. He knows working together is a big part of the job.
So it's just a group of people who have the same passion, the same goal, who all want to come together and have fun.
Making sure everyone shines is what Music City Thunder is all about. A win is just a cherry on top. For Middle Tennessee News, I'm Austin Thompson.
Although the Music City Thunder didn't win the tournament, they're looking forward to their upcoming games. Coming up next on Middle Tennessee News, we've got the latest forecast for you to see if the weather will finally clear up for spring break. Stay tuned.
Turn off your lights for Earth Hour. For our forests, our rivers, our oceans, our wildlife, and for our climate. For our Earth. Earth Hour, March 30th, 2019.
Your zip code. Just one number different and you might have a whole other life. Different school, different job, different dreams, different problems. In America, the zip code you're born in can determine your future. The Y works to change that, with programs and services that help everyone thrive, no matter who you are or where you're from. For a better us, support your local Y today.
Breast cancer kills more than 41,000 people each year in the U.S. alone. That's unacceptable. That's why by 2026, Susan G. Komen will cut the number of breast cancer deaths in half. We'll get there by helping those who can't pay for treatments, by funding breakthroughs in research that save lives, by ensuring that all people receive the care they need. We'll get there, but only with your help. So, are you in?
My mother used to say, a long time ago, whenever there would be any catastrophe that was on the air, she would say, always look for the helpers. Because if you look for the helpers, you'll know that there's hope.
Welcome back to Middle Tennessee News. We're going to give you a quick look at your weather. Getting ready for spring break. I know some of you aren't moving out of the way or anywhere from Murfreesboro, so we're going to give you some current conditions to see how it's looking now, as well as a 5-day forecast to see what's up ahead. Current conditions right now, 44 degrees. It's cloudy. Thankfully, not a whole lot of rain. As you saw all of last week, it was raining. Softball and gravel lot were even filled with water. Thankfully, that stopped. Humidity at 92%. It's Tennessee. What else do you expect? And the wind at a cool 5 miles per hour. Nothing too bad. If we're looking into tonight's forecast, you're going to see a low of about 33 degrees, mostly cloudy there, with humidity still rising at about 89%. Thankfully, though, chance of rain still low, about 15% going into the night. Of course, as you go into your 5-day forecast, you'll see a lot more sunshine coming in these next couple of days. Of course, Friday, cloudy with a high of 44, low of 33. Mostly cloudy on Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be full-on raining, although a chance on Saturday as well with a high of 51, low of 40 on Saturday. High of 46 and 25 on Sunday. Now, on Monday, there's your only chance really for snow. It's going to be mostly cloudy, though the chance of rain is varied from about 10 to 5%. High of 36 and low of 18. And of course, Tuesday and even on to Wednesday, you're going to see a lot more sunshine if you're not moving from spring break. Perfect timing, but the highs aren't going to be too good. They're up in the 30s, high of 37, low of 19 for Tuesday. And still ahead, find out how you can help a child in need. And also, I'll give you a look at some of the top sports updates, as well as what the situations are for the Middle Tennessee basketball teams. That's coming up next on Middle Tennessee News.
Turn off your lights. For Earth Hour. For our forests, our rivers, our oceans, our wildlife, and for our climate. For our Earth. Earth Hour, March 30th, 2019.
Your zip code. Just one number different and you might have a whole other life. Different school, different job, different dreams, different problems. In America, the zip code you're born in can determine your future. The Y works to change that, with programs and services that help everyone thrive, no matter who you are or where you're from. For a better us, support your local Y today.
Breast cancer kills more than 41,000 people each year in the U.S. alone. That's unacceptable. That's why by 2026, Susan G. Komen will cut the number of breast cancer deaths in half. We'll get there by helping those who can't pay for treatments, by funding breakthroughs in research that save lives, by ensuring that all people receive the care they need. We'll get there, but only with your help. So, are you in?
My mother used to say a long time ago, whenever there would be any catastrophe that was on the air, she would say, always look for the helpers. Because if you look for the helpers, you'll know that there's hope.
The Conference USA basketball tournament is just right around the corner for both the men's and women's teams, with just 3 games remaining for the men and 2 for the women. However, both teams are in different positions heading into the final stretch. We'll start with the Blue Raider men's squad. They're currently sitting 12th place in the standings with a 6-9 record. That's the last spot in the tournament. Though there's still time to bump up in the standings, and that starts on the road this weekend with a big game against Rice. Rice is also 6-9 on the year, but a tiebreaker puts them in 11th thanks to an Owls victory against MTSU earlier in the year. A win in this game would clinch a spot in the Conference USA tournament and move them up to 11th. The game starts at 2 p.m. on Sunday. And for the Lady Raiders, they need a strong finish if they want to remain in the top 3 in the conference. The 19-8 Lady Raiders are in a strong position at 3rd in the conference with a 10-4 record. However, losses against Marshall and more recently UAB in that game 77-72 diminished their chances of finishing at the top of Conference USA. Now, a home win against a 2-12 Owl squad who have lost their last 3 games should help remedy their struggles. Middle Tennessee defeated Florida Atlantic earlier in the season 74-55. The Lady Raiders will finish their regular season on March 7th versus the 15-13 Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Tip-off for Saturday's Murphy Center matchup is at 5 p.m. And last, the Middle Tennessee women's volleyball team is showcasing their talent as 2 upcoming senior standouts take part in the Women's National Team Open Tryouts. Setter Taylor Hamill and libero Brianna Tankersley are the first 2 players under head coach Truck Crawford to be invited to the annual event, who calls it a huge step forward for the program. Only 215 players across 89 different colleges are even invited to the event. Hamill and Tankersley will compete on March 1st and 2nd for spots on the U.S. team. The tryout will be held at Colorado Springs Olympic Training Camp. And that's all the action for Middle Tennessee sports. Before we let you go, we're going to have one more heartwarming story about a 7-year-old girl named Emma Martins who was diagnosed with an inoperable brain tumor. Her wish? To get a letter from your dog. Emma's gotten more than 50,000 letters already. Her parents are grateful to strangers who've written it. If you, I mean your dog, would like to send her a letter, here is her address. Want to send a letter yourself? Well, the address is on the screen now. Her family also has a GoFundMe page if you'd like to help with any of her medical expenses. Thank you for joining us for Middle Tennessee News. I'm Jonas H. We won't be here for spring break, but stay tuned after the week for all your latest updates and news in Murfreesboro.